In a recent interview, Tom Aspinall lashes out at Dana White and Jon Jones for their remarks about him and also reveals when the fans can expect him to return to the cage. However, Tom Aspinall remains unable to train as doctors explore the possibility of operating on both of his eyes. He explains that an eyeball injection is coming up soon, something he's dreading, and even though he wants to return as quickly as possible, he stays aware that eye injuries require extra caution. With no clear timeline from the doctors, he remains uncertain about when he'll be able to resume full training.
And then we get to the post-fight press conference, Tom, and Dana White is there, and his demeanor initially seemed to be one of someone who was upset, annoyed. And then he said the line that has been dissected, and you talked about it a little bit on your YouTube channel, where his take was Tom didn't want to continue. It didn't feel like he was defending you or the decision not to fight or the injury or even being critical of Ciryl. It seemed like he was upset that the fight didn't continue because it was back and forth, and it seemed like he was actually rather complimentary of Ciryl. When you heard his comments, how did you react?
Yeah, slightly disappointing because
Tom Aspinall explains that he's only able to do light workouts, sticking to basic bodybuilding style weights, and small amounts of cardio. Double vision still affects him, and any quick change of direction makes him dizzy, so he keeps things limited to gentle jogging, time on the bike, and other low-intensity exercises. Nothing intensive, just enough to stay moving while he recovers.
He hadn't spoke to me. He hadn't given any he was already giving updates on my health, and he had no idea what had gone on. Yeah, so disappointing, mate. Disappointing.
The notion of it being framed as Tom didn't want to continue, as opposed to he got poked in the eye, he couldn't see, he can't get that stuff. That phrase, the way that picture was painted.
Aspinall also fires back at Jon Jones for mocking his injury and questioning his heart. He says he expected more from someone considered a GOAT and tells Jones to focus on his own life. In his view, Jones is already retired and should enjoy himself instead of worrying about what he's doing.
It's after the fight, Jon Jones changed his profile picture, the duck with the eye patch. A few days later, Dirty Boxing, he's on a horse coming to the weigh-ins, a horse with an eye patch. This scene here, he's made some comments in the aftermath about, like, you know, your heart, your determination, you've looked for way outs. What do you make of the way Jon Jones has talked about you and acted towards you in the aftermath?
Yeah, good for him, man. Good for him. I thought this guy was the GOAT. Focus on yourself, bro. You're retired. Just do your own thing. If you're so much better than everybody else, just go and enjoy yourself. Don't worry about what I'm doing.
Meanwhile, the English fighter proposes a drastic rule change to discourage fouls in MMA, suggesting that if one fighter commits a foul, the other should be granted an equal foul in return. He even jokes that in this case, he would double eye gouge Ciryl Gane back to make things fair.
What I think should happen is, if there's a foul, like in my case, double eye gouge was what happened to me. So if we want the fight to carry on fairly, I get a free foul on him. So I'll double eye gouge him back, and then we restart the fight. I think that's fair.
I feel like that might be a tough one to pull off.
Well, so's continuing when you've got no eyesight.
Henry Cejudo also goes off on Dana White, the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and the referees over the ongoing eye poke problem, arguing that the lack of strict enforcement is ruining the sport. He warns that if officials won't enforce real consequences, athletes will feel free to exploit the rules the same way.
One question for me on the eye poke thing. You mentioned Jason Herzog in your last fight. Obviously, there's been an eye poke problem in the UFC for a while. It's not the UFC's fault, but more the commission's. What is the solution? You mentioned.
I think everybody needs to man up. Dana White, the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the referees, and just make a fucking decision, man. If you guys can do it, like, dude, that's bullshit. If we're being warned in the back, and all right, then I'm gonna start taking my warning. I'm gonna start sticking in the eye too. I get a warning. Like, that's not for everybody. Needs to fucking man up and step up and create this and make this thing official. Dude, somebody could lose an eye. Bisping. I mean, how many other... Dude, these dudes are deformed for life, dude. That sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it sucks. The one that happened to me, but two, man, it's Betch Cohead. There's a lot of people that have eye issues that you guys don't even know about. You know what I'm saying? So it starts here. And I think it needs to be immediate. And if not, man, I think people need to be held accountable for that stuff. If I also lose a fucking eye, dude, you imagine that? Like, oh yeah, oh good job, you're a warrior. Oh, okay, well, who's gonna give me my eye back? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody needs to step up. Everybody, including Dana White.
Furthermore, Tom Aspinall defends himself against critics following his eye injury, explaining that the experience has been overwhelming. He acknowledges that haters are part of professional sports at the highest level, but is frustrated that some people genuinely think he faked the injury. Tom stresses that the eye poke was clearly real and severe, noting that many didn't even seem to watch the replay before jumping to conclusions.
It's been a bit of a whirlwind, to be honest with you, because I know there's a lot of haters out there. Of course, this is professional sport at the highest level. We have haters. But when the eye poke happened, obviously, eye pokes happen all the time in MMA, unfortunately. And got the eye poke. Obviously, everything went on from there. Went to the hospital, returned home. Didn't even check my phone or nothing for a while. And then I realized people genuinely think that I faked this. People actually think that I was faking it. And then I was like, did people actually see the replay of what happened? Because that was a full-on eye poke.
Tom Aspinall is stunned by how many people doubt his injury. After undergoing extensive testing and visiting the hospital multiple times each week, he prepares a full doctor's report to show what happened. Despite this, some accuse him of exaggerating or seeking attention. Tom expresses frustration at those who ignore the medical evidence and replay footage, calling them haters with nothing better to do. He emphasizes his appreciation for the fans who stay supportive and follow his updates throughout the ordeal.
So then I was like, what is going on? Why are people thinking I'm faking this, after everything that I've been through to get there? So then I left it quite a while. I thought, right, I'm going to get all the doctor's notes included. I've been through it for loads and loads of tests for weeks. I've literally been in the hospital 2 or 3 times a week getting different tests. Then I come up with a doctor's report, and then people are like, oh, he's fucking crying about it. He's doing a media tour on it. He's milking it. And I'm like, bro, if you don't believe the eye poke and you don't believe the doctor's reports, what are we doing? What's going on here? I didn't make this up. Go watch the replay, check out the doctor's reports. Look, man, I'm in a point where you just cannot please these guys. These guys are fucking losers, man. These guys are just crazy haters who have got nothing good going on in their life, obviously. I have still got a lot of fans. I wanted to keep my fans updated with what's gone on, and I appreciate everybody that's stuck by me.
Tom Aspinall further addresses critics who claimed he was looking for a way out, emphasizing that he prepared for the toughest fight of his life against Cyril Gane, a highly dangerous opponent. He explains that he wasn't trying to knock Gane out, but was pacing himself for 5 rounds. While acknowledging that his nose bleeds easily from past breaks, he criticizes casual fans who see a bit of blood and assume a fighter is losing, calling that mindset wild. Tom Aspinall said, I was prepared for the toughest fight of my life. Cyril Gane is a very, very dangerous opponent. I wasn't trying to knock him out, I was just trying to pace myself for 5 rounds. My nose is all good. I've probably broken my nose 3 or 4 times in my life. If you hit me in the nose, it's gonna bleed, but mate, the casual noob hater MMA fan who sees one bit of blood and thinks this guy's losing a fight? It's wild. The heavyweight champ points out the absurdity of thinking he's losing a fight just because of a bloody nose. He explains that he took a few jabs and low kicks and insists it's ridiculous to suggest he's looking for a way out. Tom Aspinall added, these people must think I'm literally unstoppable if they believe that just I've got a bloody nose, I'm losing a fight. I've got hit with a couple of jabs and a couple of low kicks. You really think I'm looking for a way out? Come on, mate. Tom Aspinall also questions Cyril Gane's habits in the cage and makes it clear he believes Gane cheats. He acknowledges Gane as one of the most technical strikers the heavyweight division has ever seen, but argues that a fighter with that level of skill should not still be throwing punches with an open hand at kicking range.
What about this intentional, unintentional stuff? Because
I can see sometimes how it can be unintentional, but if you stood at range, when it happened to me, he was stood at kicking range. If we're talking, I personally think that Cyril Gane is one of the most technical strikers to ever fight in the heavyweight division. I personally genuinely believe that. If he's one of the most technical fighters in the heavyweight division, why has he not learned to punch with his hand closed at kicking range? It doesn't make any sense how that can be unintentional. I wouldn't have mind giving him a double eye poke and then we'll carry on.
So do you think it's part of his game plan to do this? If you say he's a dirty fighter, he's a cheater, then it would suggest that he tries to do this in order to gain an advantage, right?
Well, he cheats in near enough every fight. I ain't seen the Cyril Gane fight that he's not cheated in yet.
Do you have any concern about fighting him again?
Maybe I'll be doing the fouls next time. Who knows?
Aspinall remains confident that Cyril Gane fought with deliberate intent, insisting the eye poke was not accidental. After reviewing the fight footage, he sees a clear pattern of Gane extending his fingers toward his eyes during dangerous exchanges. Aspinall argues this wasn't a one-time mistake, but a repeated tactic meant to compromise him illegally, even referencing Jon Jones' previous warning about Gane using similar moves.
Look, when I watched the fight back, that's when I really got the gist of what's going on. The guy was trying to poke my eyes out all the way through that round. Multiple exchanges, nearly every exchange that I could put him in danger. He had his fingers out pointing towards my eyes. The guy was cheating from the first second, and the way that he wanted to win that fight was to have me compromised by cheating. My thoughts on him, I think he's a big cheater. Look at all his fights, even Jon Jones himself, even the GOAT himself said before he fought him that Cyril Gane's a cheater and uses dirty tactics.
Tom Aspinall reveals that Dana White hasn't contacted him at all since the fight with Cyril Gane. He expresses disappointment after hearing public updates suggesting his eye was fine, explaining that those claims weren't true. He feels let down because he has done a lot for the UFC and expected better communication during a serious injury situation.
It surprises me a little bit, the face of the UK fight scene, all that stuff. It surprises me that you have no kind of relationship with him.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. That's the way it is.
Has he sent you a text or DM in the aftermath? Hope you're feeling better.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. He actually, like I said, he started giving updates that there was nothing wrong with my eye when that isn't the case. So I've done a lot for the UFC. So yeah, disappointing.
Do you feel let down?
I have been in contact with the UFC, so it's not like Dana isn't the whole promotion. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have a close relationship with Dana anyway.
Do you feel like they've taken care of you, the organization?
Not really.
Is that frustrating?
Disappointing, mate.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Michael Bisping also shares his thoughts on this fight and warns against posting the doctor's report online, explaining that while the intention is to show he's still unfit to fight 6 weeks later, it only feeds the haters' narrative. He points out that sharing it makes a fighter appear vulnerable, which isn't necessary since everyone already saw the deep double eye poke that extended to the knuckle. Bisping calls the incident a real shame. Michael Bisping said on his YouTube channel, "Don't come online and show the doctor's note. I understand why he wants to do that. He wants to say, look, 6 weeks later and the doctor still says I'm not fit to fight. But all you're doing is playing into the narrative of the haters. Playing into this narrative that you're a victim, showing the world that you're vulnerable. You don't have to do that. We all saw you got poked. They were deep, and it was a double eye poke that rolled all the way out to the knuckle. It was a shame. It's a bloody travesty that it happened. Just come back and whoop some ass, and on the way, take no prisoners." Michael Bisping encourages Tom Aspinall to address Cyril Gane directly rather than posting medical updates. He suggests that if Tom truly believes the eye poke was intentional, he should confront Gane boldly, call him out, question his character, and promise to make him pay when they eventually fight. In Bisping's view, that approach shows strength and confidence, unlike sharing doctor's notes, which he believes only fuels the haters. Bisping said, sure, say Cyril Gane did it on purpose. Call him a pussy because you're going to set foot in the octagon and you're going to fight the guy. Say, I'm going to absolutely marmalize you. I'm going to make you pay for being the cheating bastard that you are. Arnold Ellen reflects on the reaction to Tom Aspinall's eye injuries, noting that he genuinely feels for Tom and doesn't believe he quit. He points out that the more a fighter explains their situation, the less people want to hear it, because most fans don't care about context. Instead of wishing someone well, he says many younger fans are quick to label fighters as inactive bums, which shows how harsh the climate has become.
Such a tough one because I really feel for him, and I don't think he definitely didn't quit, and he's definitely not like, you know, whatever. He's like, I don't think he's lying about his situation. But the more you put it out there and the people don't want to hear it, people don't care, right? This is what I know. Obviously my situation is quite different, but like, I know when I've been injured, if I put a video out there like doing rehab work, saying what I'm planning to come back or something, people don't give a shit. They just hear People just hear you whining. You say, "Oh, I'm hoping to fight soon, but I'm still injured." People don't like most fans don't go like, "Hope you're okay," like, you know, "See you soon." They'll be like, "Ah, fucking inactive bum," you know. So I think that's just the kind of the shit we're dealing with these days.
Sean O'Malley also expresses strong sympathy for Tom Aspinall after the eye poke ended his fight, believing it robbed him of a major opportunity. He reflects on how a win could have set up a huge matchup with Jon Jones and added excitement to the heavyweight division. O'Malley also considers the division's unpredictability, noting that Jones and Alex Pereira show little interest in facing Aspinall, and admits the situation leaves more questions than answers about what comes next.
What could have been if Tom Aspinall goes out there and wins? What happens to his career after that? That's the Jon Jones potential fight at the White House. Like, there's so much that Tom missed out on because of that. It's super unfortunate, sad, and it would have made the heavyweight division it would have made it a lot more fun. I mean, the whole division's been so crazy with Jon Jones. You know, he defended an interim belt, Tom Aspinall. It's like, what do you, I mean, Jon Jones is done. Alex Pereira, he's probably not moving up to heavyweight. Like, you just rematch that fight. You know, the crowd was insanely loud, so it was like, I guess it was a big fight, but do you watch it again? Do you make that fight again? Jon doesn't want to fight Tom. Alex doesn't want to fight Tom. Man, yeah, I don't even know what you do with that fight. I think Dana said he's gonna make a rematch.
On the other hand, Tom Aspinall recalls dealing with serious vision issues in his fight against Andrei Arlovsky, explaining that a punch to the eye left him seeing double throughout the bout. He remembers avoiding too much movement because changing direction made him dizzy, yet he still pushed through with essentially one functioning eye. In contrast, he points out that the situation with Cyril Gane was completely different. Taking eye pokes in both eyes left him unable to see at all. Trying to continue under those conditions, especially against a striker of Gane's caliber, would have been reckless and dangerous.
I actually got punched in the eyeball against Andrei Arlovsky, and during that fight I had double vision. I wasn't moving my feet around because it was making me dizzy, and I was adopting a stance that was kind of like this. I usually fight with my hands pretty loose. I was adopting a stance that's kind of like this so I could see him properly, and stood with my feet in the middle of the cage. So look, I fought through having one eye before. But when you get double eye gouged and it's against the rules and you can't see anything, like, if you're going to continue, that's just suicide, especially against a guy like Cyril Gane. Like, if I can't see somebody because of an illegal move, look, if it's legal, everything's good. It's a punch, kick, knee, elbow. We got to carry on. We got to fight through it. But if it's both eyes and it's an illegal technique, I'm not a dummy. Like, I'm not gonna carry on in a fight that I'm definitely not gonna win because somebody else is cheating and I can't see.
So, that's all we have from today's video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts about the upcoming UFC fight card in the comment section, and subscribe to our channel to get more updates about UFC.